The kitchen light stays on a little longer tonight, spreading a pale circle across the counter where a small pile of clothes waits to be folded. The room smells faintly of soap, as if the washing machine has just finished its quiet turning somewhere behind the wall. At noon earlier, in the office, the air was still and almost empty, and shirts hung over the back of a chair while emails blinked on the screen without urgency. Now the hangers rest against the cabinet, their thin metal shoulders touching, and your hands move from one sleeve to the next without thinking too much. The day has already asked for many things. This part does not ask for anything. Fabric brushes softly against your wrists, and the light above hums in its own steady way while the stack on the table slowly grows. A phone lies nearby, silent for the moment, face turned down against the wood. At noon the office felt wider than it really was, the kind of quiet that settles between desks when most people are out for lunch. The light from the window fell straight across the keyboard, catching the edge of a sleeve draped over the chair, the same sleeve you had meant to fold properly before leaving home. Emails waited in their tidy rows, but for a moment they seemed less important than the faint scent of soap clinging to your clothes, a reminder of the morning's quick load before rushing out. The chair creaked softly as you leaned back, noticing how the fabric brushed against your arm, still slightly cool from drying. It was a small thing, that clean smell in the middle of work. It stayed with you longer than the messages on the screen. In that still noon hour, the room carried a soft hum from the air system and the distant shuffle of someone walking down the corridor. Your eyes moved from the monitor to the folded collar resting over the back of the chair, and for a few seconds there was nothing to fix, nothing to respond to. Just the steady rise and fall of your own breathing. Work would continue soon enough. The clock on the wall ticked without asking for attention, and the stack of documents on the desk held its place, patient and unmoving. You reached for the shirt, smoothing the front where the fabric had wrinkled again, pressing it flat with your palm as if returning it to a simpler shape. The soap scent lifted faintly, clean and ordinary, and it felt like a small space inside the larger day. Later, when the afternoon thinned and the office quiet deepened again, you gathered the clothes into your bag with careful hands. The metal hangers touched each other with a soft, familiar sound, and the sleeve that had rested on the chair all day was finally folded over your arm. Outside, the sun had shifted, and the corridor carried a warmer tone than at noon. It was not a dramatic change. Just a subtle turning. The kind that happens whether anyone notices or not. Back home, the kitchen light met you first. It washed over the counter where more clothes waited, warm from the dryer, holding that same trace of soap in their fibers. You set your bag down, feeling the weight leave your shoulder, and stood for a moment before beginning. The house was not completely silent. There was a distant hum from the refrigerator and a faint sound from another room, but nothing pressed too hard. The day had stretched across office hours and household tasks without separating them too cleanly. Your hands found a rhythm again. Sleeve to sleeve. Collar to collar. Each piece lifted, folded, placed onto the growing stack. The smell of soap rose gently each time the fabric shifted, as if the morning were quietly greeting the evening. It was not about finishing quickly. The pile did not complain. It simply waited. The kitchen light cast a steady glow across the table, touching the edges of the hangers and the soft folds forming under your palms. Somewhere nearby, your phone rested face down, its dark screen hidden against the wood. Notifications may have arrived. They often do. But for now, the surface stayed still. There was no flicker of light, no small vibration pulling your attention away. Just the quiet movement of fabric between your hands and the faint scent that made the room feel freshly rinsed. You placed the last folded shirt onto the stack, aligning its edges with the others. The hangers were gathered together and set aside, their metal hooks leaning gently against each other. For a moment you stood there, looking at the small, orderly pile on the table, feeling the steadiness of that simple completion. The kitchen light hummed above, and the soap smell lingered softly in the air as you reached over and turned the phone face down more firmly against the table. The next morning, the office carried a thinner kind of quiet, as if the walls themselves were still waking up. Light slipped across the desk in a straight, pale line, touching the edge of your laptop and the neat stack of folded clothes you had brought back to hang in the small cabinet near your seat. The scent of soap had faded just a little, but when you opened the door and reached in to adjust a sleeve, it rose again, soft and almost shy. It did not ask to be noticed. It simply lingered. A colleague passed by without speaking, their footsteps soft against the carpet. The clock on the wall marked time in small, even sounds, and your screen filled slowly with lines of text that needed attention. There were tasks waiting, as always. But your hand paused on the fabric for a second longer than necessary, smoothing the collar so it would not crease again. The movement was small. It steadied something. By noon, the room felt suspended between conversations. Most desks were empty. Chairs were turned slightly away, as if their owners would return at any moment. The air held a faint mix of paper, dust, and that almost clean trace from your clothes. You leaned back and let your eyes rest on the ceiling tiles for a breath. Nothing dramatic happened. The day did not change direction. It simply continued. There is something about being the one who remembers the small tasks. The one who folds before leaving. The one who notices when a sleeve is slipping from its hanger. In the middle of office quiet, those details sit quietly beside you. They do not demand praise. They do not announce themselves. They just exist, like the steady line of light crossing the desk. Your fingers tapped lightly against the edge of the table, not in impatience, but in habit. The room answered with its low, constant hum. Outside the window, traffic moved somewhere beyond sight, muted by glass and distance. Inside, the stillness felt almost protective. The folded clothes in the cabinet waited without complaint. They would be worn again, washed again, folded again. Later in the afternoon, when emails gathered more quickly and the screen filled with small notifications, you closed the cabinet door gently. The metal hinge gave a quiet click. It was an ordinary sound. Still, it marked a shift from one kind of attention to another. You returned to the keyboard, answering, adjusting, moving through the tasks that had their own rhythm. By the time work drew toward its end, the office light had changed from bright to slightly warmer, as if it too were preparing to leave. You slipped the remaining hangers into your bag, careful not to tangle them. Their thin shapes pressed lightly against the fabric of your coat. It was a small weight to carry. Familiar. Back home, the kitchen light came on again, just as it had the night before. The counter held another modest pile of clothes, waiting in their loose, soft shapes. The scent of soap rose once more when you lifted the first piece, as steady as it had been the day before. You did not rush. You did not count how many remained. The fabric brushed your fingers, cool and then warm. The house was quiet in its own way, holding the end of the day without urgency. A chair stood slightly pulled out from the table. The refrigerator hummed softly. Your phone lay near the edge of the counter, its screen dark, resting where you had left it. You finished folding one shirt, aligning its edges with care, and let your hands pause there for a moment before you reached over and turned the phone face down. In the early afternoon, when the office settles into its quieter stretch, the light becomes softer without anyone announcing it. The hum of the air system blends with the faint rustle of paper, and your desk holds its familiar arrangement, laptop slightly open, a stack of documents aligned to one side, and the cabinet door closed over the clothes you folded the night before. You reach for the handle and open it again, not because you need to, but because it feels right to check. The scent of soap has thinned further now, barely there, yet still enough to suggest care that happened hours earlier. You stand for a moment with one shirt in your hands, feeling the fabric between your fingers. It is smooth where you pressed it flat, a little warmer near the collar where your palm rests. Outside the office, voices pass in brief waves, then fade. Inside, there is space between one task and the next. The screen waits. The room waits. You hang the shirt carefully so the shoulders sit evenly on the hanger, adjusting it by a fraction until it looks balanced. Sometimes reliability looks like this. A small correction. A quiet alignment. No one else in the room notices how straight the collar falls or how the sleeve no longer slips. But the act itself carries a steadiness that spreads through your chest and into your breathing. It does not need applause. It only needs your hands for a few seconds. The clock moves forward. Afternoon light shifts a little higher on the wall. You return to your chair and answer messages, one by one, in a tone that matches the calm around you. When a request arrives with urgency, you read it once, then again, letting the initial tension settle before typing back. The keyboard sounds soft under your fingers, not hurried. The fabric in the cabinet remains still, holding its shape. Later, near the end of the workday, you gather your things slowly. The office quiet has deepened, the hallway outside carrying only occasional footsteps. You open the cabinet one more time and check the line of hangers. Their thin metal curves reflect a narrow strip of light. You touch one sleeve lightly, confirming it is secure. It is. Back home, the kitchen light welcomes you again, not brighter than before, just familiar. The counter holds fewer clothes tonight, but they are there, folded loosely from the dryer. The air carries a faint trace of soap, mixed now with the simple smell of the room itself. You lift one piece and smooth it across the table, pressing out a crease with your palm. The house feels settled. A chair stands pushed in properly. The sink is empty. There is no rush to finish. You fold slowly, allowing the edges to meet without forcing them. The fabric brushes your wrist in a small, steady motion. Each piece becomes a rectangle of quiet order beneath your hands. Your phone rests near the corner of the counter, screen dark, as it has been before. It has likely gathered its share of notifications during the afternoon, small signals waiting patiently. But here, in the kitchen light, they feel distant. You finish folding another shirt, stacking it neatly on top of the others, and pause with your hand resting on the pile for a breath. The scent of soap lingers faintly as you straighten the hangers and slide them aside. The light above hums softly, steady as ever. You reach toward the phone without hurry, turn it gently so the screen faces down against the wood, and let it remain there. The following day, the office noon arrives again without ceremony. Light settles across the desk in a flatter tone than yesterday, neither bright nor dim, just enough to outline the edges of paper and the faint texture of the wall. You open the cabinet as you have done before, and the clothes hang there quietly, their shapes unchanged. The scent of soap is almost gone now, but when you lean closer, there is still a trace, as if the morning had left a soft signature behind. It is subtle, almost private. You adjust one hanger that has shifted slightly to the side. The metal makes a small, clear sound as it brushes the rod. The sleeve falls straighter after that. Outside the room, someone laughs briefly, then the sound dissolves into the hallway. Inside, your chair rolls a few centimeters as you sit back down. The screen in front of you fills with its usual tasks, lines of text appearing and disappearing with each reply. There is a certain quiet in being the one who keeps things aligned. Not loudly. Not perfectly. Just enough that the day can continue without catching on loose edges. You answer a message that asks for clarification, then another that carries a tone of impatience. Your response stays steady, unhurried. The hum of the air system threads through the space between sentences. At some point, you pause and look at the cabinet again. The door is slightly ajar. You stand, close it gently, and rest your palm on the smooth surface for a second longer than necessary. The gesture is small. It does not change the course of anything. But it marks a boundary between what has been handled and what still waits. When afternoon leans toward evening, the light thins near the window. Shadows gather softly under the desk and along the base of the wall. You collect your bag and slip the extra hangers inside, careful not to bend their thin shapes. The office quiet has deepened, and the corridor outside carries only the faintest echo of footsteps. It feels like a pause stretched across a large room. Back in the kitchen, the light comes on with a familiar click. The counter is clear at first, then you bring out the small load of clothes from the basket, placing them one by one in a loose pile. The air carries a fresh wave of soap scent tonight, stronger than before, rising as the fabric unfolds. It fills the space gently, not overwhelming, just present. You begin folding again. Sleeve over sleeve. Hem aligned with hem. The rhythm is unforced, your hands moving in a pattern learned long ago. The refrigerator hums in the background. A distant sound from another room fades and returns. The house holds its own steady breath. There is no audience for this. No announcement. Only the quiet repetition of care. The stack on the counter grows slowly, each piece settling into its place. You smooth a crease near the collar of a shirt, pressing it flat with your thumb, and feel the fabric cool beneath your touch. Your phone rests near the edge of the counter, screen dark against the wood. It has been there since you arrived home, untouched. Perhaps messages have gathered. Perhaps not. The room does not react either way. You finish folding one more item, aligning it carefully on the stack, and let your fingers rest on the top for a moment. The scent of soap lingers in the warm kitchen air as you straighten the pile slightly, ensuring the corners are even. The light above casts a soft shadow across the table. Without looking at the screen, you reach over, turn the phone face down again so it lies quietly against the surface, and leave it there. Some afternoons at the office feel almost weightless, as if the hours are passing on a softer surface. The light no longer draws sharp lines across the desk, instead, it settles evenly, touching the cabinet door where the clothes hang inside. You open it without urgency and let your eyes rest on the familiar shapes. The fabric no longer carries the clear scent of soap from earlier days, yet when you lift one sleeve, there is still a faint memory of it, woven quietly into the threads. You smooth the collar again, though it does not truly need it. Your palm moves slowly, following the curve of the seam. Outside, a printer starts and stops in short bursts. The hallway carries a low murmur that fades before it becomes distinct. Inside your small space, everything remains arranged, laptop centered, documents squared, chair tucked in when you stand. There is a steadiness in being the one who checks twice. Not because something is wrong. Simply because it matters to you that it rests properly. You close the cabinet and return to your seat, noticing how the fabric of your own sleeve brushes against your wrist. The movement is ordinary. It anchors you in the middle of the day. Emails arrive. You answer them. A request shifts slightly in tone, and you adjust your reply to meet it without adding strain. The keyboard sounds even beneath your fingers, not hurried, not delayed. The air system hums above, consistent as it has been all afternoon. Through the window, the sky has softened, its brightness thinning toward evening. When it is time to leave, you gather your bag and glance once more at the cabinet. The hangers are aligned in a quiet row. The sleeves hang straight. You close the door gently, listening to the small click of the latch. It is enough. You step into the corridor, where footsteps echo faintly against the walls, and let the office fade behind you. At home, the kitchen light turns on with its familiar glow. Tonight the counter holds only a few pieces of clothing, left from a smaller wash. The scent of soap is stronger again, rising as you lift the first shirt and shake it lightly to smooth the folds. It fills the air in a simple way, clean and steady. The refrigerator hums in the background. A chair stands slightly angled from the table. You fold slowly, allowing each sleeve to meet its pair. The fabric slides under your hands, cool at first, then warming with touch. There is no rush to finish. The pile grows one piece at a time, edges aligned with quiet attention. The kitchen light casts a soft shadow along the folds, outlining their shape without exaggeration. The house carries its own thin silence now. Not heavy. Just present. You place one folded shirt onto the stack and press lightly on the top to keep it balanced. The scent of soap lingers close to your hands. Somewhere in another room, a small sound begins and ends, then the quiet returns. Your phone rests near the sink, where you set it down earlier. The screen has remained dark, unnoticed while you worked. It has likely gathered its share of small signals throughout the day. But here, in this narrow circle of light, they do not reach you. You finish folding the last item and straighten the stack so its corners line up neatly. The hangers are set aside, their thin shapes touching lightly. For a moment, you stand still beside the counter, looking at the small order you have created in the middle of everything else. Then, without checking the screen, you turn the phone face down against the cool surface and leave it there. Night settles differently than afternoon. It does not arrive in a straight line but gathers quietly at the edges of the room, softening corners and lowering the tone of everything it touches. The kitchen light feels warmer now, almost contained, holding a smaller circle over the counter where the last of the folded clothes rests in a neat stack. The scent of soap lingers faintly in the air, no longer fresh, but still present enough to notice when you lean closer. The house has grown quieter. Even the refrigerator hum seems farther away. You pick up one shirt from the stack and check its edges again, smoothing a crease that is barely there. Your fingers move slowly, not because there is more to do, but because there is no reason to hurry. The fabric feels softer at night. In the bedroom, a softer light waits. You carry the folded clothes there one small pile at a time, placing them carefully into drawers that slide open with a muted sound. The air feels cooler here. The faint trace of soap follows you, mixing with the stillness of the room. You straighten one stack inside the drawer and pause, looking at the quiet shapes resting side by side. There is no audience for this hour. No messages demanding answers. No voices crossing the hallway. The day has thinned to a narrow thread of movement between your hands and the drawer. You close it gently, listening to the low wooden sound as it meets the frame. It is enough. Back in the kitchen, the light remains on. The counter is now clear except for the hangers gathered together in a small bundle. Their thin metal curves catch the glow faintly. You pick them up and set them aside in a cupboard, the soft touch of metal against wood barely audible. The scent of soap fades further as the fabric settles into its new place. Your phone lies where you left it earlier, screen turned down against the surface. It has not moved. The room has not changed because of it. You reach for it slowly, lift it just enough to feel its weight, then place it back down in the same position. The gesture is simple. Quiet. The night air feels steadier than the afternoon. Outside, distant traffic passes in a low, almost unnoticeable stream. Inside, your breathing becomes easier to hear. You lean back slightly against the counter, letting your shoulders drop. There is nothing more to fold. Nothing more to align. A thin silence stretches across the room. Not empty. Just calm. The kitchen light hums softly above, casting its small circle over the cleared surface. The faint scent of soap lingers near your hands, a reminder of repeated motions that required no applause. You turn toward the hallway and switch off the kitchen light, leaving only the dim glow from the bedroom. The space shifts, shadows deepening where brightness had been. For a moment, you stand between the two rooms, feeling the quiet settle fully. Then you walk back to the counter once more, touch the phone lightly, and turn it face down again, leaving it there in the dark, The bedroom light remains dim, casting a softer outline around the dresser and the quiet shapes inside its drawers. The scent of soap has nearly disappeared now, leaving only the ordinary smell of the room, steady and familiar. You sit at the edge of the bed for a moment, hands resting loosely in your lap, feeling the day settle without needing to be named. Down the hallway, the kitchen stands in darkness. The counter is clear. The hangers are tucked away. Nothing calls for attention. The house holds its own thin silence, not heavy, not demanding, just present. You reach once more for the phone on the bedside table. Its surface is cool against your palm. There may be messages waiting. There may not. The night does not change either way. You turn it gently so the screen rests face down against the wood, letting the small gesture mark the end of movement for now. The room grows quieter still. The light hums faintly before you switch it off. And in the dark, with drawers closed and fabric folded, there is nothing left to adjust,